The backdrop was Buckingham Palace. The subject was the scandal of the decade.
There is no good time to talk about Mr. Epstein and all things associated.
After months of seedy stories and speculation, Prince Andrew finally faced some difficult questions.
But you were staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times.
Critics called it a car crash, a train wreck.
If you're a man, it is a positive act to have sex with somebody. 4 times a year?
That was what he said in a Florida court legal deposition.
No. I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
But Prince Andrew isn't the first royal to cop criticism for his TV performance. Who can forget his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson's memorable meeting with Michael Usher?
But don't try and trick me now, because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it, please, that bit? Because I don't want to go down this...
Duchess, I'm asking very fair questions of you.
No, I just too tabloidy. Remember. What's she called? Cindy. Yeah. I'm going to take 5 minutes.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm not going to take 5 minutes.
It's certainly an interview Michael Usher will never forget.
Right.
I feel that she felt the subjects were beneath her to have to explain, yet she'd written about them to try and make money out of a book. It was all very confusing.
Hi.
From the bouncing, beaming, charismatic Fergie that arrived at the beginning of the day, it ended up in all sorts of apologies and a very weird, tense atmosphere. A unique experience.
That's done. It's finished. I've answered it. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next question.
But on-air reporter run-ins aren't just a modern problem for the monarchy.
Our guest today on Meet the Press is His Royal Highness Prince Philip.
Way back in 1969, amid growing anti-monarchy sentiments, the Duke of Edinburgh appeared on legendary US show Meet the Press. He was asked about the state of his family's finances.
We go into the red, I think, next year.
And 3, 2.
The interview was recreated in the latest series of The Crown.
He had a small yacht, which we have had to sell.
Really?
I shall probably have to give up Poland very soon, and things like that.
It was a comment that didn't go down well back home. And while on the same PR offensive, the royal family agreed to allow BBC cameras to film a documentary about their lives. The idea was to show they were actually just normal folk at heart.
The salad is ready.
Family barbecues and trips to the sweet shop.
This is all I want. Thank you. Disgusting. Just do your mess. It's going to be in the cars.
The film was watched by 30 million people in the UK, but has hardly been seen since. Locked away in the archives, a decision which was also depicted in The Crown.
Commentators are united in their mockery of our woodenness, our stupidity, vanity.
As a matter of fact, I think it best if that documentary were never seen again, anywhere, by anyone.
In recent years, engagement interviews have been controlled, affectionate, and even charming.
She's got a really nice sense of humour, which kind of helps me because I've got a very dirty sense of humour.
Just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic.
The couple strolled around the grounds of Buckingham Palace, posing for the cameras.
Not so natural was the engagement interview of Prince Charles and his 19-year-old fiancée, Lady Diana Spencer.
But I think anyone in the position we've been in would feel pressure and everything. But it's been worthwhile, every bit of it. And next to Prince Charles and I can't go wrong. He's there with me.
There was nervous body language and youthful optimism. But perhaps the most revealing line came at the end of the interview.
And I suppose in love.
Of course.
Whatever in love means.
Whatever in love means has since become one of Charles' most memorable quotes. Fast forward 13 years, the fairy tale was over, and so was the marriage. And after years of rumours of infighting and infidelity, the Prince of Wales agreed to be interviewed at his home.
Did you try to be faithful and honourable to your wife when you took on the vow of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
And you were?
Yes. Until it became irretrievably broken down.
A year later, it was Diana's turn. In an explosive interview, she revealed her anger at the royal family.
But if I tripped up, which invariably I did, because I was new at the game, a ton of bricks came down on me.
How did you cope with that?
Well, obviously there were lots of tears, and one could dive into the bulimia and to escape.
An eating disorder, bitter regrets, and one final blow at her ex-husband.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
And with that royal revelation, the interview secured its place in history.
Sit there.
Yeah, okay.
Sit there and relax.
Right, okay.
But the prize for the most awkward royal TV interview must surely go to Molly Meldrum.
Now we come to the most important part of the... Sorry. Could I just have one glass of water, please?
Do you not have one of these teleprompters?
No. Your Royal Highness... Oh. I'm sweating like a pig.
But nobody prepared me for Molly Meldrum.
40 years later, the Prince delighted in reminding the journalist of his faltering display.
It was an evening I will never forget, and a special thank you to Molly Meldrum.
The Prince seemed to enjoy that for once it wasn't his performance being scrutinised and scorned.